Hello guys and girls and welcome back. It's Big John here. That's at the bottom of the screen if you like to listen to my music. So it's my SoundCloud link. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be teaching you about the weekly cycle when it comes to trading the wave strategy on the 15-minute chart in Forex. So without further ado, let's get straight into the charts. So as you can see from my chart here, I've got my usual setup. I've got Pip Hunter baseline overlay. I've got Pip Hunter Momentum Extreme. I've got Pip Hunter Trend Scout here. I've got my TDI and I've got my Auto Trend channel here. I've also got my session range boxes as well, which you'll see when I go into a 15-minute chart. But let me just explain the strategy to you. What we will be doing here is paying attention to market structure. Now we can see the market is in a downtrend because the auto channel is saying a downtrend, but this is a weekly time frame auto trend. So we can still catch pullbacks on buys on a 15-minute chart for scalps. And sells, of course, being a downtrend in this one. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be buying from the bottom of a trend channel, the very bottom, and selling from the very top of the trend channel. Now, of course, all the sells will be stronger in this trend as this is a weekly downtrend, but you can still scalp some of the buys on a 15-minute chart. As long as they're safely near the bottom, it would help. Or if it's a sell and it is an uptrend, as long as they're safely near the top. So what I'll do is I can see, lucky enough, that Pip Hunter has flags to tell me warnings that something's about to happen. Obviously here, a red flag meaning a bullish move is about to happen. So I put a vertical line here when the flag appeared, but what you can do is set alerts for these flags as well on this time frame, which is a 4-hour. So for you to see a trend channel on a 15-minute chart, you're going to have to zoom all the way out so you can see it properly. But then you can zoom back into where we can see our vertical line, which is just here. And then we're going to be looking for our confluences. Now we do not trade Asian session. Well, you can trade London session or New York, but we can see here clearly because look, price was at the bottom of a weekly trend line. We're looking for a buy. So our trade was not here. You wouldn't have got faked out even in London session here. You'd have been waiting. And then what happened is you had your confluences on your TDI. You would have seen your momentum extreme turn green. You would have seen your trend scout turn green. And then you would have known you was in New York session. Also even got what Taylor's added here, which is candles not to enter on, which is pullback candles. So you wouldn't have entered here. You would have seen this candle and said, okay, I can kind of enter here. This is gray because it's telling you don't enter yet. Wait for the pullback. Now you see this is not gray. You could have been thinking to enter here. So it did pull back a bit. That's cool. You would have had a stop loss of 10 to 20 pips depending how you trade. Then we would have managed to catch these candles going up here. And what we could have done is held our trade. Look at this buy all the way up here. See that? We'd have caught the trade all the way up to around about here if we wanted to hold it. Now, Pip Hunter on the 15-minute chart was telling us to come out here. So we could have come out here if we wanted to. That's cool. So this is how you would catch a bullish trade all the way from the bottom all the way to the top if you was to hold your trade. Okay, so this is now a bearish trade. Look, same type of thing happened here. Notice how price was at the top of the auto trend channel. I've put my vertical line here. What I would do is go down to the 15-minute chart and I'll look for my entry. Okay, so the 15-minute entry, as you can clearly see here, I had Asian session here, I had London session here, I had New York session here. So what it's told me is paying attention to my confluence list. There was a pullback on my TDI London session. Price has come through here. You can see back down here, it's come through the yellow line and it's crossed back down. So this was my indication here to be able to get into this trade. Right about here. Notice how there's no color changing candles telling me that this is a good entry here. I could have got in here and I could have held my trade going all the way down. And again, you would have caught all these pips. Look at all these pips. You would have caught all these pips here, going all the way down to here. Now, these are longer trades. It's basically the wave strategy, but I call this the wave strategy 2.0. Next, I'm going to go through some pairs and show you how this works on different trading instruments. Okay, GBP JPY 15-minute chart, same thing here. As you can see, I've got my confluences here. Shark was at the top of the water here. There was a pullback here. You would have thought you could have entered here, but no, as I can see, I'm still above even the Pip Hunter baseline overlay. I would have waited. My entry was New York session, London or New York session. I would have seen that there was a crossover again here. Pip Hunter baseline was turning red. I had momentum in my favor, which was red. I had the trend in my favor. I had a crossover. Crossover was below the 50 on the TDI here. I would have been able to enter here. I would have been able to hold the whole trade going all the way down here. GBP CAD, same thing. Remember, zoom out. A lot of the time people are zooming in too much so they can't see the bigger picture. This is a W forming. So if I zoom in now so I can see, I've seen the bigger picture, I could zoom in. So if I didn't get in here, I would have waited. Then there was a pullback. Look here, my trend has got weaker. I can see that even the 2 and the 7's crossed over. When the 2 and the 7 crossed back over, wouldn't have got in yet. It's told me here. I could have got in on this candle here. Put my stop loss 10 to 20 pips. Held this, went all the way up. GBP Swiss franc, same thing here. Again, we can see we're looking for a buy. It's come here. Look, we can see the bigger picture. Shark was out of the water here. It did a massive pullback. And then what happened here? Our entry was right here. Could have got this. Would have caught all these pips going up here. Euro USD, same thing here. Remember, zoom out. Shark was out of the water here this time, which was the previous day. Divergence occurred. You have to zoom out so you can see the bigger picture. Not all the time is it just going to be here, the TDI. Zoom out so you can see M formed here, obviously hit the top here. It was another small tiny M here, but it didn't cross the yellow line because it did it here, you see? And then you would have seen right here, you would have been able to go straight down. So there, top, dropped all the way down. USD JPY, same thing. You can see it went to the bottom of the channel, went here, rejected, came all the way back up into the channel. Then what did we have here? Again, we had an entry right here. So you can see Shark was out of the water here, did a massive pullback, came in here, gave us indication for New York session. That's why you had this little W here. It was a big, this is what you call a 22, second leg in a second leg. Did a little W here, trend momentum kicked in. You would have been able to get in here. And then you would have been able to hold that trade all the way up to here. So not all the time can you hold it all the way to the top. Like, look, a pullback came here, but this is why when you're getting it here, you have sniper entry. So no matter what, if you're patient, even though it did pull back here, yeah, it wouldn't have stopped you out. That's how you could have held it here. This is when people say patience in Forex. So you don't have to hold it all the way to the top. Your take profit one needs to be the yellow line. And if it goes further than the yellow line, then you're lucky. And it can go all the way to the red line. But not always will it go straight from the green line to the red line or the red line to the green line. USD Swiss franc, sell happened here. So this was at the top of an auto trend channel here. You could see you had your confluence here, Shark out of the water. It did a pullback, New York session was your sell. Momentum trend kicked in. You had everything to tell you that you could sell that. And then you could also hold the trade all the way down there. USD CAD, same thing. It was the top of an auto trend channel. So you had your Shark out of the water here, pulled all the way back here. As you can see, came in for this day here. Look at the bigger picture. Always look at the bigger picture. That's why I'm putting a weekly auto trend. Zoom out, look at your bigger picture. And that's what the auto trend does. You won't see the auto trend on all of my charts some of the time just because I'm not trying to keep zooming out while I'm showing this explanation. You would have been able to catch this going all the way down and you would have caught all of these pips. My mentor actually did catch this trade all the way down here as he knows how to trade with market structure, so he would have paid attention to something similar to the auto trend channel. And then what he did is he traded with a 0.50, so 0.50, and he managed to make $500 catching this trade going all the way down. Gold, the same thing, hit the top of the trend channel. As you can see, Shark out of the water here, did a pullback, hit the top of the trend channel, New York session, dropped all the way down. You'd have been able to catch these pips or all the pips down all the way to here. Now you see what I'm saying? This is happening with everything. I'm making sure I'm going through things to show you guys and girls this happens. Just the same way I taught you about the wave, this happens with the auto trend channel. So I'm calling this the wave 2.0. Now this is indices. If you're asking how I'm going to be trading indices, this is exactly how I trade it, like this, and pullbacks. I'll explain pullbacks in another video, but this is how I trade it. Look, same thing happened with the indices. Came in, bottom of the trend channel because this was a buy that I marked up here. Bottom of the trend channel, New York session, seeing your crossover. Look, zoom out so you see the bigger picture. Shark out of the water was here. Then it came back round. We're looking for a session. Could have got in at London session if you wanted to. You had momentum and trend and you could have held it from there. But it tried to stop you out here. But if your stop loss was like down here, you wouldn't have. US 30, you have to be careful because it moves a lot of pips. You have to have a decent amount of money in your account and you've got to have a good enough stop loss. So you could have still got in either here in London session, or if not, you could have waited for New York, got in here. New York session was above the 50% on the TDI, giving you a stronger indication of a buy if it did cross over for bullish momentum, and you could have held that trade all the way from there. This is all US 30 did previously before the drop. It just did a big buy and now it's doing its drop. And this is what Ninja Assassin in the group caught now. She caught the same thing because look, this is where my original trend line was before the auto trend line. It's really in a downtrend. That's what it is, but you did catch that buy there, which you could have still caught. But look, in a sell, you could have caught all of this, and that's what she caught, and that's how she managed to make that money. I caught a couple of these trades, and so did someone else in the group. Few people, in fact, caught it in our group. Make sure you check pinned comments below. I have all the links to my groups there. So yeah, just hit them up and join up. Learn. Let's learn. Let's make this money, man. Let's make this money, man. Bitcoin, the same thing. See, London session here, it dropped. It told you. Shark out of the water here, pullback, TDI, it dropped. Same thing. Bitcoin you could have held. You'd have been able to get all these pips going down with Bitcoin all the way there. Same thing. and oil. The exact same thing happened here as well. You would have seen top of the auto trend channel that was, and then you would have seen again, look, New York session is where it started. Asian was here, London was here, pushed all the way to the top. New York session, you would have just been able to get it on the end of New York. If you didn't catch this day, because you thought, okay, I won't catch this, well, you still could have caught this day here. This is what it does. It just happens. I've shown you with a few trading instruments. So if you want to learn more about these strategies or anything I do teach, just join the group, and I do my best to teach everybody for what I can do. If you want to join my mentorship program, please just go into the group, check out the sections. You'll see everything there that's necessary to explain that. But to join the group itself is free. And if there's any comments that you would like to say, please put them below. And if there's any other things you need to know, please put it below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And it's your boy, Big John. And you know what? I'm out. Audi TT. Peace.